Man, this is depressing. It's one of these deals where I keep hitting refresh on my account, thinking, I must not have been paid for something. No, I have been. And I can hit refresh. Like over and over. It's not getting any better. The same number. It's like I just look. I'm like, it's mocking me. It's just staring at me, this number. Not a fan.
The letter D is going to be in my vocabulary tomorrow.
I should never have jumped in on the Edmonton Oilers game.
Nope.
I was happy. I didn't bet it. I even said I didn't bet these games because I know they're parlay busters. And of course, no, I got to get in on the total and I got to get in on Edmonton. Yeah. And we end up losing them both. I am on the Milwaukee Bucks right now, so that's good. But I'm not happy about this total. I'm not happy about the total. We've got the over this game. The new in-game total right now is 211.5. Minnesota only have 70 points in this game. The Minnesota Timberwolves were just held to 13 points in the third quarter. Like 13 freaking points. You want to talk about, they're title contenders and stuff. And I told you guys, I like this Minnesota team. I thought they were good. I bet on them last year and stuff. I was a year ahead. I thought they'd be better last year, but they're not ready for prime time yet. This is why I go back when I've been talking about the Golden State Warriors all week. About all these young teams look good and stuff in the regular season, but once it gets to the playoffs, they'll choke. And then suddenly you're like, man, I can't believe the Lakers are still playing. I can't believe the Warriors are still around. Yeah, because these young kids aren't ready yet. Like they get to the big stage, and look at this right now with the T-Wolves. I mean, they're just getting massacred. They're 1 for 7 from threes in this quarter, 6 for 23 from 3 in the basketball game. Shout out to everybody joining us on SiriusXM channel 159. The Bucks are up by 17 on the T-Wolves. The fourth quarter's just started. There's 11 minutes remaining in the game. The Bucks are minus 12.5 right now. The in-game total is 208.5. It's 87-72. Tony Finn's going to step up and in a couple of minutes. We'll get Tony's college basketball thoughts. I've got a bunch of best bets for the weekend action. The MLS is back tomorrow as well with a full slate of MLS action. The Warriors are up by 16 right now on the Charlotte Hornets with 4 minutes left in the game. We talked about the Hornets bubble bursting, and it looks like their bubble is about to burst tonight. Golden State just keep racking up the W's. They're going to be 8-1 now in their last 9 games. And the Denver Nuggets are rolling the Portland Trailblazers. So it's a favorite night so far. 107-88 for the Nuggets. And the Lakers and the Spurs, it's 82-70 for the Lakers right now. The Spurs are getting 13.5. The in-game total is 250.5. This is the game we might have to turn our attention to, Cam, for our in-game action because there's still a lot of basketball left here.
You're right. I'm actually going to take a shot with the Charlotte plus 15.5, Gabe. One more kick at the can before it's over. Maybe they can lose by they're down 16 right now. They're getting closer to that number. Getting closer.
Yeah, you're just playing like this is like
it's a game show, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a card game. I mean, you're basically just you're doing random betting now.
Yeah, it's a game called Showdown. Basically, I played with my friends, and everyone throws a couple $100 in. We flip cards, and whoever has the best hand wins. No skill, no whatever, just like trying to hit something
you're hoping
at the end
that they score the last basket.
I'm not going to tell you I'm any an angle or I'm literally pissed off at the way things are going, and that was the game. So just don't lose by 15. Let's go. Or 15.
All right, there's one college baseball game going on right now. It's 10-10 in the top of the 9th inning between Nebraska, Omaha, and Long Beach. This is some wild stuff. Huh. Long Beach are minus 290 right now, despite the fact it being 10-10. There's Japanese baseball going on right now, but it's exhibition. They're playing exhibition baseball as well. If you want to bet, Cam, if you're looking for a bailout here, AHL hockey. You can bet on some AHL hockey. Yeah. Abbotsford Canucks and the San Jose Barracuda tied at 3. Everything's tied at 3. Coachella Valley are up 1-0 on the Ontario, California Reign. They're up 1-0. I'm looking for something myself here, but nothing's really jumping off the screen at me. Yeah, USA and Argentina women's soccer, just for an update for you hardcores, it's 4-0 for USA. USA going into the the 89th minute right now. But this is one of these nights where there's just not a lot of bailout specials available, Cam.
No.
As
got to
of right
be
now.
patient. Got to be patient. Tomorrow we got a lot of college basketball. This girl in LPGA Thailand, Patty Tafanakit, she's from Thailand. I've been watching her play. She's minus 140 to win this tournament, but this girl's just like taking over right now. She's going really, really low. Brooke Henderson's falling a little bit back. So you're right, Gabe. Like I can't reach any more than I have tonight. Obviously that Charlotte 15.5 is a desperation play, but we got a million games tomorrow. I can't just blow the account, just clicking stuff. I've got that Charlotte bet's the last for me. There's nothing else.
Right, we've got our AM radio affiliate coming up here. Yeah, they're down by 16.
15.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. Level 3 has begun. On the SportsGrid Radio Networks, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. Shout out to all of our AM radio affiliates stepping up and in. Let's do this thing. We've got NBA basketball going on right now. The fourth quarter has started in Minneapolis at the Target Center, 87-74 for the Milwaukee Bucks. We're looking for a late-night bailout special here right now. I was thinking about pulling the trigger on the in-game over 209.5 in this game. Minnesota only scored 13 points, all right, in the third quarter of play. You got to believe that they can get their offense going a little bit here, as they're just getting drilled by this Milwaukee team. Tony Finn's going to step up, and then we'll take a look at Saturday's college basketball card. We've got some big-time games coming up. We'll get into the UFC, Bellator versus PFL. We'll take a look at the overnight NHL card and get you up to date with the numbers. But we got the Rage Reddit Cam Stewart in the house right now, who seems to be falling into a spiral of depression. Yep. As the losses start to mount up. I've been cold for a couple of days, and I can't get on track, and I thought I would tonight. We're on Milwaukee, but we're on the over as well, so that's not going to help us. But I will take the buck.
I was on fire, Morency, with golf, and now I'm just taking all the monies from the first-round leader and just throwing it on these games. And you said it, everything's falling short. San Jose State collapsed. But you know what? Can't flip out. A lot of stuff, man. There's a huge betting day tomorrow. I can't just be like trying to hit Minnesota live and all this other stuff. Like I gotta relax. We're just gonna have to grind again, like the old days. Just figure it out. Pick your spots.
Yeah, I don't want to figure anything out. I want it all back now.
That's always the smart approach.
Tomorrow seems like a long ways away.
It really does, though. No, trust me. This is taking. I feel like I'm in AA, and the guy's going, "Come on, Cam. We can have one for old time's sake." I'm like, "No, man. Please don't do this to me." But God, I could really go for a drink. I got problems.
I might have to get into the Japanese B League basketball. The Kobe Storks are playing right now.
Storks.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous number 1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death.
True.
Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as a unanimous number 1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach, a coach who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I think you try to trade Mikal Bridges. I think he's someone that is a 3-and-D guy, could score, and his game is elevated since leaving Phoenix, even though his game has maybe regressed a little bit from last year. As the number 2 option, Mikal Bridges can fetch you, I would say, at least 3 first-round draft picks. If you're not going to contend with Mikal Bridges, do him right, trade him, do a full rebuild.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, I bet the in-game over here of Milwaukee and Minnesota. Now they're like playing volleyball under the basket. Like they're literally, it's like the All-Star game. Like, dude, Buddy on the Bucks like threw it up behind his head. It's like, dude, like you really thought that was going to go in, or like what are you doing? what are you doing? But I can't blame them. Like I said, it's like I watch college basketball and I bet the over, and I watch these kids toss bricks. And I just want to like throw bricks at them. And I realize it's not their fault. It's like getting mad at a dog for barking, right?
Yeah.
Like,
good
you
call.
know what I mean? It's like betting on the fact. Like that's a good analogy. My bets are like betting on a dog not to bark at a
dog.
car
That's
that
an
goes
instinct
by.
for a dog. The dog wants to bark. That's what he does. Yeah, he can't tell him to stop.
Yeah, well, someone's got to tell me to start.
Charlotte's coming. Charlotte's like we got the 15 and a half. They're getting closer. Yeah, what?
Oh, yeah, right. Let's see what do you got.
Oh, they're down 13 or at the line.
By 13.
Come on, Hornets, give it to me. We need something positive, like our boy Tony Finn.
The Lakers are up. Yeah, Tony's always positive. Although Tony wants to borrow some money, I think. What's up, Tony?
Hey, can I get a loan?
Tony heard our last segment. He goes, "Hey, can you guys lend me some money?" I'm like, "No, not after tonight.
Yeah.
No,
not today, Tony. Sorry, caught us at the wrong time."
Can you lend me money? Is the question.
Yeah, good call.
Of course, but it may be when I loan money out, it's worse than losing. It's worse than losing. Even if you win with my money, it's worse than losing.
Amazing.
Anyone that's listened to the show the last 2 nights got to be thinking, man, I got to fade these guys. The best last night was we had Jimmy the Bag on. Jimmy's like, I've lost 6 straight bets. He comes on the show. He goes, I'm 0-6. Like basketball. I can't He goes, you know how hard that is to go 0-6. He goes, I'm 0-6.
You're so right.
He goes, I killed the hockey. I just went 0-6 in basketball.
Yeah.
The books are cleaning up, Cam, the last 48 hours.
We haven't talked to Jimmy. I haven't talked to him in years. That was his opening line. I'm 0-6 in basketball. Like, thanks for the picks. Oh, wicked. Hey, man,
he was on. He gave us a basketball pick, but
dude, Timberwolves
for the record, he lost.
Live.
But he said he took Niagara. They got messed up by Canisius, right?
That's right.
That's why he said, he goes, I like Niagara, but I'll let you know I've lost 6 straight basketball bets, so make it 7. I'm not ripping them. I feel your pain. Yeah. Hey, listen, there's a bunch of shots being hit in this game, though. Oh, my goodness. Suddenly it's 98-92. I got the over here, too. I got in on the over 210.5. It's 216.5 here. I might actually. We're going to turn this.
Get one more.
What did I say? We're going to turn this frown upside down, Finn.
Okay, let's do it.
11 seconds left.
Not from what I saw, Niagara wasn't a very good play, but I had a buddy, Las Vegas Chris stopped by today. I said, who you on? He goes, I'm on Niagara. I said, well,
that's the thing. Tony, people bet it because they were Gabe on the road, 14, whatever, and ATS. They had one loss ATS on the road. Like, it's hard to maintain that pace unless you're the Minnesota Golden Gophers, I guess.
Unless you're Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, yep.
Wow. Man, the Hornets might actually cover the 12.5. They're down by 13 with 11 seconds left.
I got them at 13-2 pregame because I always get the regular number. If they get this last basket, Gabe, they'll cut the 97-86. Let's finish the game. Let's go. Come on, Charlotte. This is very important for me, Gabe. Very important.
They have the ball, so they're going to lose by. They're not going to lose by more than 13. They're not going to get scored on again. The Lakers, the Spurs are hanging around. It's 93-90 this game. Tony, any opinion on the Spurs and Lakers? What game are you stressing out here, Tony Finn?
None. I'm all in. Everything I have is in.
None.
None. How about the Spurs 6.5? Gabe? Are we in?
Tony's
we take
cool.
San Antonio? No, at 6.5. So
they get
they're coming back.
7.5.
Oh, you get 7.5? You know what? I would sink my teeth into 7.5. Let's roll. All these guys live. Let's roll. I'm in. Well, we're here.
This is here to put in trouble this week, actually, by doing this in game where I'm like, I'm going to jump in on this, and I keep losing by half a point. Like, it's been one of these. I keep looking at this total. It's calling my name. Do I want to jump in on over 251.5, or is it going to slow down? Victor Wembanyama's got 23 points and 10 rebounds so far.
He's coming along quite nicely, I think.
Yes, he is.
For a guy who needs to, eat a couple extra sandwiches every meal, he's playing pretty well. Well,
they don't want him to be big, Tony. He can't be too heavy. He's going to get hurt.
Well, yeah, I would say he might put a little stress on his knees and those kind of things. Yeah, too heavy. But come on, he got to be heavier than 150 pounds. He's 7'3" and 150 pounds. Got to weigh more than 150 pounds. You don't have to weigh
150 pounds.
He weighs way more than 150 pounds. What the hell are you talking about?
Don't listen to Tony Finn's guys.
That's the best.
Hey, Cam, did you know gullible wasn't a word? Did you know gullible wasn't a word?
I got you, Tony, but I'm just saying. I got you.
We don't know with you, Tony.
That's the thing. You make it tough. Sometimes we don't know. That's the whole thing. That's the mystery of you, Finn. We never know.
I tell you what, I love when people start doing, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we 150 pounds. What are you talking about? I'm embellishing a little bit just to make the story better. Okay.
He's got 23 points and 10 rebounds. He's got 23 points and 10 rebounds in the first three quarters, so I think he's doing all right.
It's doing just fine. Just
go ahead. You're the last person should be talking about people's bodies, Tony Finn.
Why? I should.
You've seen Tony? Like, why is he a pear? Like, he doesn't look fat or skinny to me. He just looks like a regular dude.
I might be the last person to be talking about the dog barking. You can't tell a dog not to bark. Well, then I'm in trouble because I've told lots of dogs not to bark. And
you know what, Morency? Is there a problem with this Hornets-Warriors game?
Dogs. Huh?
It's been 11 seconds with Charlotte's ball for the last 10 minutes. Like, what the hell's going on here? Is there an injury? Like, I'm just staring at the screen. Like, nothing's happening. God, man.
You're right. Somebody who was playing against the Hornets fell on the court, fell out doing an epileptic fit.
It's been stuck for a little while. Maybe a streak around on the court. Let me. I just turned it in. I got the game here. I just checked it.
Okay, thanks. I'm watching it on the sports book, so you tell me.
They're reviewing something. Something's being challenged.
Oh, great. You got
it. Yeah, that's all you need right now. At 13 to challenge. Why are they challenging anything? It's like it's a 13-point game with 12 seconds left.
Exactly.
Like, seriously, at this point, like both coaches should just be like, I don't care, dude. Like, it's over.
Oh, Charlotte's at the line. Okay, here we go. So no. Please, Golden State, just dribble it out if they hit a shot. Just give me.
Oh, they will. What? They'll dribble it out.
No, it says Golden State's at the line.
No one's at the line. No one's at the line anywhere. I'm watching the damn game. No one's even. They're not even playing. Everyone's standing around. I don't know. Someone just got kicked out on the Warriors. Like there's stuff going on here.
Well, it's on Draymond.
It's actually not Draymond. Draymond's laughing it up because it's not him.
Yes, that's why Golden State's at the line. That's Grant Williams. See, oh man, now they're going to be 15. Technical. Oh God, you got to be like this. Now this is
this guy talks so much. This is why he's not on Boston anymore, because he talks too much.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
He talks so much. Quinones got kicked out too, so they both got kicked out.
Wow, Quinones gets signed to a one-way deal and kicked out. Hanging around.
Man, I don't know. The Warrior bench seems pretty happy about it. Draymond's like applauding them, and like everyone's loving it. The Warriors are rocking right now, Tony. They're 8-1 in the last 9.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you guys can hear. We've had such a bad night. We've decided to pull a fire insurance scam. We started a fire.
Yeah, end of match. It says end of match 13. There I go. Thank you. Man, I needed that. Let's move on, Gabe. Spurs now. No. Push and a win. I bet I'm live at 15.5, Tony. So it's pretty good.
I don't understand this. One thing. So it's 97-84. But Charlotte have the ball, but they don't shoot.
Yeah, great.
Like, why?
Thanks for telling me.
It's like you're losing. Just take the damn shot on the way out. Yeah. Like, why do you just stand there with the ball?
Exactly.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous number 1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death.
True.
Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as a unanimous number 1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach, a coach who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I think you try to trade Mikal Bridges. I think he's someone that is a 3-and-D guy, can score, and his game is elevated since leaving Phoenix, even though his game has maybe regressed a little bit from last year. As the number 2 option, Mikal Bridges can fetch you, I would say, at least 3 first-round draft picks. If you're not going to contend with Mikal Bridges, do him right, trade him, do a full rebuild.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
Night.
Night.
This sort of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. Gabriel Morency.
I love Tony so much. He's great.
All right, Tony. So, what did you do, Tony? Tony Fair. What did you do, Tony, on a ski trip when you were 18? Would you say you drank a bottle of what?
18 years old. 18 years old. Yeah, we the parents wouldn't let us drive for the ski trips. We had to take a bus. So all those guys, we bought 3 cases of liquor and hit them in the speakers. We said, we're going to take our stereo with us, hit it in the speakers. And when we got there, pre-New Year's celebration, everyone got a bottle of Jack and a bottle of Mad Dog, and you chase the Jack, or you drink the Jack and chase it with Mad Dog 2020. I never had alcohol poisoning except for that night, those 2 days.
Mad Dog's rough. That's tough. That stuff's poison, bro. That's
wow.
good.
If anything should have quit, make a man quit drinking, it's like cool 100s long, 100s extra menthol, Jack Daniels and Mad Dog. I should have died right there and then. It should have been everyone.
It explains a lot, actually, now. So this game's getting close at the end here. Milwaukee are up 105-101. The T-Wolves just hit a couple of threes, but Giannis is going to the line, but that's always an adventure. With him on the free. He is better. I don't understand, though.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. You should be able to hit a free throw. I mean, you got to get worked out and get better. He's hitting 65%, which it is better than he was. So it's like Shaq was 52%, to put in context. So 65%. But what I don't understand is,
you're a pro.
Yeah, especially for someone who gets fouled as much as he does.
Yes.
So he just hits the first one. But he throws it too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why, like, they don't tell him. Like, they don't coach and say, dude, like, just lob it, bro. Like, stop. Like, I get it, he's big, but he throws it like he's throwing a tennis ball at a wall or something. He sort of throws it, and it's like, dude, like, you're not going to ever get the bounce. Like, you throw it too hard. I just don't understand from a technique standpoint. You like this, though, Tony. I used to have Rick Barry on the show all the time, and you want to hit them both.
Yeah.
But, Rick always, of course, went underhanded. Right? Mm-hmm. Never missed.
Yeah.
I don't know why people,
I covered his son.
Like, if you're comfortable with Granny Scott, why not? Like, and Rick Barry was the one, like, if that's the thing, Gabe.
Well, if you're
like,
going to hit like 98%, you're never going to miss. Like, you just keep doing it, right?
I'm with you. Who cares what it looks like?
I covered Scooter Barry when he was in college. I was covering the Big 12 then. He played for Kansas. Scooter Barry, his son. One of the Barrys,
Tony's been around.
Sure have
been around.
So, again, as long as we're on this, we'll get to the college basketball in a second, but we'll get back to this baseball win total. We were talking earlier in the week about your Kansas City Royals, Tony, and they had whenever it was talking about Ohtani, the Royals were actually spending money, right? They're not going to get mega stars, but they were spending money on pitchers, so they built up their rotation with some vets. They paid Bobby Witt Jr. as well, a big-time contract. So this is a team that's going in the right direction. I don't think they're going to win a division this year, but looking at their win total, 73.5. Can the Kansas City Royals get to 74 wins this year, Tony? What's your take on the Royals?
I'm under 73.5. Listen, I agree with you. They're going in the right direction. They're doing a lot of things.
Tony crushes the party right away. Under.
You really does.
Right away.
That's disappointing.
I'm under.
You don't think they can get to 74 in that division?
I'll tell you what. Because they're in that division, everybody in that, save the White Sox, everyone in that division is better than the Royals today. Even the White Sox may be better than the Royals today on paper. In 2014-15, well, and there'll be a lot of people who will push back on that. But in my numbers, my metrics, and my gut, part of my gut feeling is that they're still the Royals. And while Bobby Witt is a good player, a great player, maybe a player that excels above and beyond expectations, which are already pretty high, guys, they still have problems. Their pitching staff, they can't pitch, man. They cannot pitch. And I know they've signed some extra arms, some depth for the bullpen, et cetera, but this is really an abysmal staff. It's a staff that I'm just not certain belongs in El Paso with the Chihuahuas and et cetera. They're just not very good. That's just my opinion. But under 73.5, I think is I think it holds value. I liked it. I played it.
Know what it is, Gabe? That line opened up earlier, as I told you, about the fluid market, and you saw this. Like when Kansas City first came out, some books had the 70.5. People betting the over because they were a hot team. And now maybe Tony's onto something. Like if that thing hit 73, like that's a big difference, right? Good side of the number, 70.5 compared to 73.5 or 74. Like these numbers are moving fast, people. Like that's the thing. Like, and all the trendy teams, people, they're just betting overs, right, Gabe? That's the whole thing. Like you're not going to like that. Their number was not that when it opened up. People are betting the Royals over. That's kind of scary, in fact.
The Royals won 56 games.
Gabe. Yeah.
They won 56 games only last year. They won 65 the year before. They won 74 the year before that. 2020 was the COVID year. They only played 60 games, so forget about that one. The year before, 59, 58. So it is a big step up from, they need a marked, big-time improvement. So you said you think the other teams. Last year, the Detroit Tigers, Tony, were a trendy team coming into the year. I remember off the top of my head, their win total was 77.5, and everybody loved them to the over. And I didn't do it. I sort of thought, you know what? I don't think they're ready to take that big of a step. Cleveland are supposed to be bad every year, and they're not. You figure that catches up to them, but who do you like? Do you like the Tigers? I'm not talking about the win of division, but do you think the Tigers are better this year? If the Royals aren't, you said everyone else is better. Are you buying into the Tigers?
Yes, I'll buy the Tigers being better. They're doing the right thing.
But their win total 79.5. That's too high. Like they're not going to get to even. Like that's ambitious.
That's it. They got 12 wins against the Royals. So they played 12, 14 times. I'm kidding. No, it's a little high. Gabe, you're right. But this team's going in the right direction. I certainly like where Detroit's going. They have a couple strong arms, and that's the Royals are so fragile. Bobby Witt goes down with any kind of a hammy injury or something, missed 30 days, and one pitcher in that rotation, maybe the best pitcher, which we can all three flip a coin and come up and decide which one's the best pitcher. But one pitcher goes down, and it's a tough gig to win 74 games, in my opinion, for them. That's a tough deal. That's a tough.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of win totals, I've never seen college football win totals this early posted before. But I've got college football win totals as well right now. Alabama, 9.5. Arizona, of course, a post. And don't forget, there's a new SEC schedule this year that's a lot harder.
Right.
Yes. It's not just that they bring in Texas and Oklahoma. It's that the SEC schedule over the years has been unbalanced. And one division has had a massive advantage over the other division. It's crazy. Like Auburn and Georgia have played each other like once in the last 30 years, guys. You're in the same damn conference. How's that possible? Right? Like the way that the conference was set up, now you can't avoid teams. Like everyone's going to play each other, and it's going to change the dynamic of everything in this conference. But Alabama's at 9.5. Arizona's at 8.5. Arizona State, 4.5. But looking at the hype teams, Colorado last year was 3.5. This year, they're 5.5. And it should be noted, Colorado's in the Big 12 now, which won't be an easy conference for them to deal with. The Georgia Bulldogs are always 11.5, which means, all right, are they going to lose a game, yes or no? This year, you've actually got a little wiggle room here. They can lose a game. Their win total is 10.5, but Georgia have a tough schedule this year for once. As I stated, the dynamics have shifted. The Michigan Wolverines, defending Michigan Wolverines, the champions, their win total, 9.5. Michigan's schedule is very tricky as well next year. But with all that being stated, they probably are going to end up being a 10-2 football team and go over the 9.5. Michigan State are 5.5. Looking out west here, the Ducks 10.5. Moving to the Big Ten, we should note at 10.5. The Texas Longhorns 10.5. The USC Trojans moving to the Big Ten. The USC Trojan win total 7.5. That's not what they hired Lincoln Riley for, I'll tell you that, to see win totals of 7.5.
Exactly.
UCLA's win total is 5.5.
Wow.
The Washington Huskies
Really?
win total is 7.5.
What do you think,
Washington
Gabe?
going to the Big Ten as well.
You know what? I hate to say it. All those teams, the teams coming from the Pac-12, they're going to have a lot of problems. Like USC had problems with certain teams in the Pac-12. Now you're going to play those teams, and it's new for you? Like, I don't know, Gabe, man. Like,
Jed Fish is a good coach.
Spot on.
Jed Fish is a good coach, but the problem is with Washington, they lost like everybody. They've lost a lot of players. They literally have like 11, 13 dudes at the combine. Like they've got a bunch of dudes in the NFL. They're going to be going to the NFL, and they're going into a new conference. They lose their veteran quarterback in panics. They lose a Dunze. A lot of rebuilding there, Tony, for the Washington Huskies.
Yeah, there's far too many unknowns for me personally to be playing a Pac-12 team that's now in the Big 12. Not only matchup problems, but we don't know how these teams are going to travel, what they're going to do when they travel, et cetera. What happens when they go out to West Virginia? That's 3 times. That's coast to coast, right? It's just so many unknowns for me.
Utah's in the Big 12. They're in the Big 10.
Big 10.
Yeah.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals actually today at one point, and they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous number 1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death.
True.
Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as a unanimous number 1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I think you try to trade Mikal Bridges. I think he's someone that is a 3-and-D guy, can score, and his game is elevated since leaving Phoenix, even though his game has maybe regressed a little bit from last year. As the number 2 option, Mikal Bridges can fetch you, I would say, at least 3 first-round draft picks. If you're not going to contend with Mikal Bridges, do him right, trade him, do a full rebuild.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Lakers are up 116-101 right now with a Snoop Dogg 420 left in the basketball game. 116-101. I wasn't kidding earlier. The Japanese B League going on right now. Kobe. The Kobe Storks are playing against the Bambutious Nara. Some great names. Kobe Storks versus Bambutious Nara. And the Shiga Lakes take on the Koshiaga Alphas. Shiga Lakes are up 37-26.
I don't want to use the L word, Morency, but this girl I told you about at -125, Patty Tavanikit from Thailand. She started with a 1-shot lead. She's got a 4-shot lead. Ladies golf 3 rounds. I'm watching it right now. If she loses, I'll jump through a window. I'm just watching this right
now.
She's
-275 right now.
Yeah. Remember when we started? I said 125 because she went birdie. She's got a 3 or 4-shot lead now. She had a 1-shot lead at -125. She's making a huge run. No one's going to catch this gal. She's on fire. I'm watching. Hits every fairway.
Let's get to there's the Thailand, some golf in Thailand. We're covering everything here. So, Tony, I got a bunch of best bets I'm going to get to in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah.
What do you got for us? Saturday college basketball. I'll ask you about a game, actually, in your backyard here with Colorado State and UNLV. UNLV fell short. They fell apart last Saturday night. They helped Des Bryant win $416,000, and it cost me in the process. Because Des Bryant had Nevada to close out the parlay. They came back and won. All right, so UNLV rolled Air Force last night. Now they're back home, another key game on their home court against Colorado State. What do you think of this one?
Well, I like Colorado State. I've been fading UNLV because I thought they were playing above their pay grade, their skill sets, let's say. They've had a good year. They really have. They struggle. They struggle against teams that are a little versatile and can shoot the outside jumper. Listen, Colorado State doesn't depend on the three. In fact, they surprise people. If I told you what their percentage of shots are from the 3 line compared to inside the arc and the paint or at the rim, but they're versatile enough that UNLV is going to struggle with them defensively, stopping them from scoring. And I don't see them keeping up, even though it's in my backyard, even though it's at the MAC. So I like Colorado State in this game.
UNLV haven't been great at home either. Right, they got an 8-4 home record this year. Colorado State's 3-6 on the highway. As long as we're in the Mountain West, SDSU laying 13.5 points, Tony, against Fresno. Too many points. What do you think about that one?
Well, I would say this. This time of year, Gabe and Cam, I think you guys would agree. This is a time when people really get stuck a little bit. And they'll get stuck because a team was this much better than the other team in December and January, early in the conference play. But teams that are overwhelmed or they're just horrible in December and January, they rarely get worse in college basketball. I don't say they're going to get a bunch better, but they've grown into their roles and they're just better. And that's a ton of points in conference play this time of year, unless this team is, unless there are 2 or 3 injuries and they're playing a second rotation against the first 5 of the opposition. I think it's too many points, Gabe.
And one last one here in the Mountain West.
Sure.
One of the worst teams in the country so far this year has been Air Force against the spread. Right now, 7-18. We just saw them get absolutely murdered against UNLV. They lost 72-43. The Air Force Falcons guys are 1-9 straight up in their last 10 games. They're 2-8 against the spread. And they get to New Mexico. Now they go to the pit. They're getting 18.5. One thing that catches my eye here about this game is the over. They're flying under the radar. Air Force can't stop anybody. They can't really score, but they can't stop anybody. They're actually 18-7 to the over on the season. New Mexico are 15-11 to the over on the season. The total is 146.5 here. Are you willing to lay 18.5 points, Tony, with the Lobos?
No. I'm not. Although we probably should be, because Air Force can't stop anyone. And if I'm the Lobos, I did hear this. I tell you, I talked to a guy out of Albuquerque who covers New Mexico, and what they're going to do. Air Force is a concern, believe it or not. It's a concern because there should be very easy to defend Air Force. All you have to do is make sure that you don't overplay defensively and don't allow backdoors, right, against that Air Force offense. However, they're going to sag a little bit defensively, and so I always, if you change canoes, in midstream, you're going to struggle. And so I've been hard on Richard Petito and what the job he's done. I've been really hard on him. They just haven't been very good, even in the pit. Recently, they haven't been very good, and I'm not laying 18.5, but I'm also not willing to take 18.5. Is that fair?
All right. So, what do you like tomorrow on the college hardwood? What are you looking at?
Let's give you a couple rules. I really am a big fan of Houston tomorrow, laying that small number against Baylor. I like a prop in that game too. Jamal Sheed under 5.5 assists, but the Bears. First off, the Bears are really tired. They have 6 guys double figures, but they overplay these guys. A lot of minutes this time of year. Jacoby Walker, et cetera, et cetera. First off, Houston is getting stronger. 9 out of 10, and they've had a few hiccups, but this is a team that's kind of coming into their own at the right time, and they're going to win the Big 12. They're going to, Bill Self and the Jayhawks got their hands full for the next few years with Houston, and they're going to go into Baylor in their new auditorium, their new venue, their new gym, and I'll lay 2 with Houston 3 points almost anywhere against any team in the country, knowing all I have to do is basically win.
Yeah, I'm riding the home team. I'm riding a lot of home teams, Tony, but I like K-State and I like Kentucky, but I do like Houston in this spot. I think that Baylor, you're just catching Baylor at the right spot. I agree with you. I think they're a little bit worn out. They just played a run and gun game last night in Provo, in the altitude. Now you got to turn around, play a very physical game against Houston. I know they lost that game to Kansas on the road, but I brought it up earlier. I don't mind the short trip, Houston, Waco. It's not like it's a road game by nature, but it's not like a trip here for them. They're taking a bus. We'll put it that way. That's the best way of putting it. They're taking a bus.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I just agree. There's some disparity. There's some dichotomy between Houston on the road and home and such. But all that's starting to shrink, and Houston's going to be a tough out for anybody from here. From this day forward, they're a tough out, especially I think when it comes to brackets. The field of 68.
So speaking of which, K-State frustrate me. This is one team that's been a nemesis of mine. I'm often on the wrong side of their games. They are erratic. They can be very good. They can beat anybody, but they can lose to anybody. But with that being stated, they are a very good home team. They're 11-3. Yeah. And similar situation, Tony. I like fading teams in college basketball coming off that win. So BYU just played Baylor. It was a closer game than the score would indicate. They were at home. BYU are a dominant home team, but they're only 2-5 on the road. I'm surprised to see K-State as a home underdog here. I like K-State.
Yeah, no, I would have gotten to this game anyway. I'm glad you brought it up because Bramlage is a difficult place to win at. We're Little Manhattan's first is a hard place to get to. You can't fly into Little Manhattan. You got to fly to one of the Air Force bases, or you fly into Little Topeka, Kansas, the capital, and then bus over an hour over to Manhattan. It's a tough place to play, a tough place to win. And this Kansas State team is better than their record, and they're better than some of the games they've played. They have a lot of cracks offensively, but they're tough defensively, and this is going to be a tough out for BYU. I'll take Kansas State and points at home. Absolutely.
All right. Anything else, Tony, you like tomorrow?
I like here's what I like. I like Alabama and Kentucky over. Now, look at a number in this game, right? 171 or 172, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I like the over. I think both teams are going to breach, or at least come awful close to breaching 100 in this game, up and down, and a fun afternoon of basketball to watch for certain with the Crimson Tide and the Wildcats. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this number is coming down. It was 177.5. It's 174.5 right now. It's sort of all over the place. I like Kentucky to win this game. So my best bets for tomorrow, college basketball, we're just going to give 3 right now. Follow me on Twitter. I'll post a bunch of plays. And at some point, I'm like a handicapper that's cold. I'm due to start winning. People people always start tailing people that are hot. That's the wrong time to do it.
You're right.
So,
you're right.
The Houston Cougars. I'm going to take the Houston Cougars tomorrow to beat. Do we have this on the board here, guys? Give me the Houston Cougars to win the game. I'm going to take Kansas State plus 1.5. At least that's the number I got. when I put the play in here. So we're going to take K-State plus 1.5 hosting BYU. And as Tony talked about Kentucky and Alabama, I'm going to take the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm going to wait for the in-game total in this game to see how it plays out. Maybe I can get a better number in-game, but I wouldn't be betting the under. It's over or pass, but it is a crazy high number. NHL hockey tomorrow. The Vancouver Canucks, I mean, they didn't have a 3-game losing streak all year. Now they're riding a 4-game losing streak. They haven't played poorly, but at the same point in time, they've gotten sloppy. They're taking a lot of penalties. It hasn't been a good week for them. Rick Tocchet has challenged some of the guys on the team, said, you know, I've had 4, 5, 6 guys that really haven't showed up in a week or so since the All-Star break. Big game for them. Boston just beat them Super Bowl week. They played the Wednesday, I believe, the Tuesday. I think it was the Tuesday of the Super Bowl week. And Boston beat them 4-0. But Boston had been on a road trip in Western Canada, and they're getting pretty beat up along the way. They're playing in close games. They're getting beat up. They're going to overtime. I like the Canucks in what's become kind of the biggest game of the year for them in a must-win situation for Vancouver. So give me the Canucks at minus 110. That total 5.5 seems a little light, to be honest, as well. I'd be surprised if it stayed under 5.5. PFL versus Bellator. This is a cool concept. PFL has really come on as a league over the last couple of years and as a company, and so much so that they bought Bellator. So now they're able to put on shows like this because they own both companies. But they're fighting in Saudi Arabia. So Francis Ngannou will be fighting the winner of this, of Ferreira and Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader, of course, a 3-time Pac-12 wrestling champion with Arizona State, longtime UFC fighter. Hard to believe he's still as good as he is. He's 40 years old right now, and he's taking on this dude. I wish if we had a picture of Ferreira. This guy's a monster, all right? He's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, he's younger, and all that. But Bader's going to be able to take him down, and that's Ferreira's weakness on the ground. Bader's a smart dude that's seen it all, and he's in better shape than most 40-year-old fighters, Bader. So, listen, this fight's going to be super fun. I can't wait to see it. And it's kind of a toss-up, but when you got a toss-up like this, how the hell do I not take Ryan Bader as the underdog? We're going to go with Santos against Romero. All right, so this is like an old man fight here. Romero's like 46 years old. Thiago Santos is like 40 years old. But Santos is in much better sort of fight shape right now. I'm surprised the number is what it is at minus 130. Clarissa Shields, of course, is the female boxing champion. She's a badass. They're giving her a winnable opponent, all right? She's only 1-1. They want her to win and stuff because they're paying her a lot of money. She's going to win her fight, and so is McKee, and so is Pico. Parlay to 3 at about minus 117. We've got a couple of more on the way out. Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous number 1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death.
True.
Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as a unanimous number 1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach, who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I think you try to trade Mikal Bridges. I think he's someone that is a 3-and-D guy, can score, and his game is elevated since leaving Phoenix, even though his game has maybe regressed a little bit from last year. As the number 2 option, Mikal Bridges can fetch you, I would say, at least 3 first-round draft picks. If you're not going to contend with Mikal Bridges, do him right, trade him, do a full rebuild.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, thanks to Matthew George, not Jeff George, Matthew George. I don't know what Jeff George is doing nowadays. Quick release, Jeff George.
Yes.
But shout out to George in for Tommy Reynolds tonight in Master Control in New York. Thanks to all of our guests this evening. Just quickly, I was talking about Shields, McKee. I'll post these on Twitter in the morning. But Clarissa Shields, Aaron McKee, and Terrence Menda and Eric Pico parlay -117. And let's go Collard and McKee to go the distance at -175. And a UFC pick, Yair Rodriguez. Give me Rodriguez to beat Ortega. Ortega hasn't fought in a while. And he's coming off of the injury and the surgery, his injury and stuff. And I don't think fighting in Mexico City, man, at elevated elevation is the best, first fight to have, when you haven't fought in a year and a half. So, especially, by the way, you're fighting a guy named Yair Rodriguez in Mexico City. So, I get it. You're Mexican-American, Ortega. That won't sell the same way. So, give me Yair Rodriguez at -135. And like I said, we'll post all of our bets tomorrow on Twitter. It's the calm before the storm. The Indianapolis Combine starts on Monday. So next week, there'll be a lot of football talk and Combine props and everything else in between. Cam, you have a best bet on the way out here?
I want to give everybody a golf matchup bet for tomorrow. I just want to do things a little bit differently. You guys covered the MMA and the college basketball. Jake Knapp over Mark Hubbard, -130. Knapp shot a 7-under today. I watched him. He missed 2 short putts, too. He almost could have set a course record. This guy's been all over the pin. I love him, Gabe. And your boy, Steven Jagerbaum over Grillo, -115. 2 matchup bets for tomorrow. Enjoy, everybody.
All right. Find Tony Finn over at wagertalk.com. And at your local liquor store, or I should say a liquor store in Vegas.
Buy a carton of Cools.
There has to be a Keno machine in the liquor store. Got to have a Keno machine in the liquor store.
In other words, if you get some gas at Terribles, you'll find Tony Finn. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.